built and monitored and taken care of to do solar power too. So, I mean, there will be, money that moves in that direction. So once again, I think that always helps lead the game. But I think we will see some periods where there's going to be some tensions in the world powers. I could see where, Russia and the United States, I think there's going to be a little bit of stress there too. I don't believe anything's going to break out into a big problem, but I think they certainly they're kind of wiggling back and forth with the pressure between each other. I believe China is in that, but China is taking a neutral position between the United States and Russia. And there'll be periods where Russia may say, well, we'll help you with that. We'll get you this oil, or we'll do this, whatever. We'll make some trades for you for that. And then the United States comes in and says, well, we'll do this for you. And China's going to be kind of like, you guys need to get this figured out. In the long range, I really kind of think that's helpful. I think it, again, is one of those periods where the truth has to ultimately come forward here. So, and China, it was probably going to just kind of sit and enjoy watching this whole thing going back and forth. I didn't see any bad energy with that. I did feel tensions. And, there are going to be those moments where they try to one-up each other or make the other one look good, or, stuff like that. But Germany is standing very strong. Definitely, they've got their solar power going on. And in Germany, I also saw some kind of, in their housing, I saw water come in, and it's like water coming in like fresh in the earth, and it comes into the house, and it cycles around the house, and it's kind of heating up during that because there's like some kind of, where the solar panels are, so it heats up, and then this ends up, even though it's also refreshed and cleansed, it ends up also being the water you use to bathe in or drink, or, so there was this whole wonderful working with the earth kind of thing happening there. I don't know enough about building to understand all that. I could just see this piping of this water, and it looked so clean and pure. I had the sense of it being very healthy when it came out. And it's like it's going through the earth. There's natural sources there, so I loved seeing that. And then, of course, the panels for solar paneling. I did see also, it came into me, it first started out as like an Arab business leader that was involved in oil and energy. I felt he was a billionaire. I certainly don't know their names. I don't pay enough attention to news stuff to know that. But I did see him in a room, and he was in a meeting, and then these uniformed soldiers, and they looked a little bit like French uniforms. They were like a kind of an olive green, khaki green, and they had these little berets on, so I don't know if that was really the French or I don't know these uniforms very well, but they came in and they ended up shooting this man in the head. Now this appeared to me as if this was some form of almost like a getting bin Laden thing. It's almost as though they may trace that this man is somehow behind and has been supporting things to do with the ISIL. So it was interesting to me how this just kept going around and came into this whole connection to ISIL. So I do believe that ISIL is definitely gaining some power, and I believe there is a powerful force that's supporting them. I believe the French are going to be very involved in working on this situation, and it's very possible that it will be their soldiers that go in and they find some source to this, and they end up taking that person out. Not that I agree with it, but that was the vision I had. With Pope Francis, I believe he certainly is very high profile. In some areas he may be under scrutiny, but will be very protected. So there might be those who see him as a bit of a power source. And he's going to be trying to get this action taken on human trafficking. And he is going to move and shake some things. He's going to make some things happen. Now, whether that's the power of light walking in, which I think there's a certain amount of that. I think he does have divine guidance and support. And I believe he's receiving visions. I believe that he is receiving insights as to what to do in this situation. And so I do believe that there are going to be those that will try and get near him, but he's gonna be so protected that no one can get in and harm him or do anything to, if they wanna talk to him, they're gonna have to go through many channels to get there. And with the human trafficking in 2015, I think we will see him take some action. But the way it came through to me, the statement was just a drop in a bucket, but a start. And it continues to bring world religious leaders together. So I believe that he's going to still have times where these religious leaders connect with each other and talk about, and they're going to be very involved with the children, and particularly poor children, and getting them food and clothing and health, all that they need. He may have I saw him having some pain in the left side under the rib cage, so I mean this could be the liver or spleen. I saw some sharp pains coming into the left side. I saw him maybe ill, but he pushed right through it, and so I do think that he will rally around and get back up on his feet. More locally, Sly James came to mind, and I think that he's going to get very involved in community building efforts, and he's going to really be trying to put together some things to crack down on violence in the area. I think he's going to want to, you know, and I think that he at first is searching, because and so he's going to put some reaches out to people, and but I do believe there's going to be an assigned group to discover the core of the violence, what's making this happen, and why are people going by and shooting? Why are they, you know, why are our children being affected? So I see him getting very much involved in this. I also saw a church, a very strong church in town. I don't know who, but it looked to me like a very strong local black minister of a very popular black church. And this will be one that I think is going to have a lot of people who get together, and they're going to be doing some strong things, which is even some of the remnants of what we might have even seen taking place in Ferguson when all this went down, where they may be trying to, and I kept seeing these really wonderfully strong women coming forward and taking that matriarchal role. You know, it's like, I'm the mother, I'm the grandmother, I'm going to tell you, you're not doing this right, we got to work together. They would also be maybe getting involved in some things. And I see a lot of this in this church taking place, but it creates ripples that kind of get out and maybe start making some other things happen. So that felt very, very positive to me. I feel also there is going to be a lot of, you know, positive support being brought into things like that. So they may get together and do things, even like, you know, 18th and Vine, those, so there could be more and more, you know, kind of meetings where they're bringing some things together. Teen groups, also I saw like some teen groups going on, and they would even have some kind of a camp. And there was a lot of Martin Luther King associations in the words and teachings of Martin Luther King that would also be involved in these camps and things like this. And all in all, I think it is a time of building light. And that's always my goal. Every day when I meditate, I clear myself, but I also try to send a little ripple out there. You know, and it's just me, but, you know, it joins with anybody else who's doing it or tempted to do it. And, you know, maybe we just keep building it, so.
Let your light shine.
Yes, let your light shine.
Okay.
Is it my turn?
Uh-huh.
Okay, one of the disadvantages of going toward the end is that all of my predictions have already been. I mean, what more can I say? Well, I do have one prediction. The Pope Francis is going to get married to Madonna. And okay, are we ready for some really interesting predictions?
We're ready.
Okay, now I don't have a narrative to go with this. I'm not going to really be giving any major social, political, religious commentary. I'm just going to lay these on you. You can write them down. I'll have this. You can copy my list, whatever you want. But I'll go through them one by one and let you figure. Let's see what happens. And some of these may be able to just brace yourself if you're wearing, you know, maybe a little bit of shock value in some of this. The Royals are going to have a very dominating year this year. Okay, and it's very likely that they'll make the pennant again. Ukraine will become a battlefield, like it or not. There's going to be more going on. It's just very volatile there, and it's going to get more volatile. I hope that cooler minds will prevail. The The domestic terror issue, the kind that we had in 2001, 9/11, that is very, very, very close to happening this year. Even though we have more supposed protections in place, there are a lot more provocations that have been proffered here. I think that the whole issue of the Charlie Hebdo thing in France is, even though they champion free speech and all that, it's still huge provocation for those who are on the verge of fanaticism. So that's one of those things, you have to pick your battles there. The weather in Kansas City is going to be very tumultuous around March 19th and 20th. Okay? If you're flying in the New York area around the end of April, I see a bit of a crisis around JFK Airport. There could be a problem with one of the larger airliners taking off. It may not have enough lift. There could be some weather issues or something, but that's around the end of April. I believe that Kirk Douglas, the actor, he's in his 90s, his mid-90s, I think that he's going to be in the news around March 10th. Could be something good. You know, maybe he'll have something great happen, I hope. Now, the jihadists in France will strike again. There's no getting around it. They're going to strike again. I'm getting it's going to be around March 10th, and I think it'll just be the same sympathy groups and the embedded people, whatever it is, people who have blended in, that they suddenly rise up. They're sleepers, and they're going to rise up again. And I think all the ingredients for that are already there. Las Vegas, I see a bit of an earthquake around May 17th. Is anybody interested in that, going there and having fun there? Sometimes when they have earthquakes, they disallow certain slot machine jackpots because they say that, there could have been some type of interference. So I do feel that Hillary is going to declare for presidency, but I think her husband, Bill, is going to be kind of in failing health gradually, because he's already had severe heart problems, and I think that this is going to put a strain on him. And so that might change the game if he starts to really go into a declining health pattern. I do think that on the Republican side, Governor Christie is going to declare, despite all of the rumors and all the problems and the issues. He's not Teflon about, he thinks he's kind of Teflon about the George Washington Bridge debacle, but that's going to come back to haunt him. We're going to see more the introduction of mood-altering electronics that are consumer products that you can wear, and it's going to help energize your brain and help you feel more alert or something. It's going to do something. It's not going to be the same as like biofeedback, though. It's going to be something that actually sends some type of pulse into your skull. And they already have this that they're developing by the company called Think, which is spelled T-H-Y-N-C. If you Google that, you'll see what I'm talking about. But that's definitely going to make a big difference, because I'm going to buy one, and I'm going to recommend it to everybody. Okay? So if you're looking to invest in a company that I think is going to be huge, T-H-Y-N-C. There's going to be a large hurricane, at least a Category 3, that's going to make landfall in the northern Gulf. Could be around Mobile. It could be around New Orleans. It could be in that area, or even further south. But I think that's going to happen, and I'm guessing that'll be during late August. What else do we see here? Oh, that missing Malaysian airline, Flight 370, that went off the radar back in last March, was it? I think that's going to come back into the news. I think there's going to be a new discovery there, that it didn't crash and fall to the bottom of the sea, because there was no evidence, there was no flotsam, nothing that they found. But it was somehow secreted into an island location, maybe hijacked and somewhere, could be in the Southeast Indian Ocean. So that's top secret. That's not gonna. There's going to be a lot of denials on that one, but the rumors are going to start to really take on a life of their own. Now, I do see a medical breakthrough in the summer around diabetes type 2. there may be some things that they find out that if you combine this, that, and the other in a certain proportion, and you take it in with your diet, that it does something to your blood sugars. So I can't wait for that, okay? Ankara, Turkey. I kind of detect some rough ground there, some earthquake activity around October 18th. I also think there's going to be a big food recall of lettuce, celery, and oranges. The kind of oranges I'm thinking probably the kind that are grown in the West Coast.